Hey, Barbara. Well, you got a name there. I got mine. You do good work. You do good work. Thanks. I know it's hard on you to notice it sometimes.
These three I know are not.
Okay, folks, according to my clock, it's 6:02. We like to be punctual. It's now 6:03, but we just wait for everybody to get here. And I officially call this meeting to order. It is a call council meeting this Thursday, March 17th, and it's now 6:03, and it's also St. Patrick's Day. Just for the old folks, most of you realize that big time. I didn't, obviously, but anyway, meeting is now open.
Do we want to modify the agenda?
All right? Yep. Can we have a motion to adopt or modify the agenda?
Before y'all
To adopt it or modify it?
Yeah, before y'all adopt it, I would like to add, last minute came in the contract from the movie company for 8 days. Some of these days have been used, but they need a contract, so I would like to make a motion, or for y'all to make a motion to add this to the agenda. Give an authority to the mayor to sign the contracts, the exact same contract we did in January, I believe, so Mayor, I'd like to.
Is that extra money?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
It's
good.
$9,600.
I like extra money. Okay, can we have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion to, okay, we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, the modified agenda is approved. And I guess we'll move on to the first committee meeting, since that's the main one, and that's Planning and Development, Chairwoman Linda Dodd.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, everybody's gotten all their information this week, and so we're looking forward to listening to all of our candidates. And at this time, I am going to turn it over to Tim Prater, who's going to answer the questions, and Danny Roberts is going to be the timekeeper.
So before we get started, the order in which the candidates will respond to the questions will be done at random. Danny Roberts will pull the names of the candidates out of the hat to start answering the questions. Once the candidate has answered the question, it'll move to the candidate to your right until it gets to the end, then it'll come back to the beginning. To help keep the time frame going, Mr. Roberts will display a yellow piece of paper letting you know that you have 30 seconds. After the 30 seconds, he'll hold up a red piece of paper showing your time is up, but you will be able to finish the sentence that you're in. We will ask questions until all the questions have been answered, or till it reaches 8:15, whichever comes first.
Can I inject one thing, please?
Sure.
We had one candidate that called in sick this afternoon, and that would be Richard Homick, and just need to know how the council would prefer to handle that. Do we want to set up another time?
Well, we wouldn't want to set up time if we had 3 or 4 call-in sick. So, you know, my thing is if you're not here, you're not here. I mean, I hate that he's sick,
Understand?
but, you know, it was call counts. I mean, we had nothing to control over him being sick or not being sick. So my opinion is he's disqualified because he's not here, just like the other people that had to work and couldn't be here, pulled their applications. That's my opinion. I don't know how the council feels about it. Talking.
Any other thoughts? Agree? Okay, I guess we need a motion to that effect.
Okay, I so move that we just take Richard off of the applications, that he is not here to answer questions, so therefore he's disqualified.
Okay, and we have a second? Okay, we have a motion and we have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay.
I have one other question. Can we get a list of who is not here or who had dropped out of, or who's not here? I mean, I can see one, but, oh, okay, hold on, she's got it.
So I can tell you that the ones that we spoke to today, yesterday was Chris Lippert withdrew. This morning, he had work. Terry Argo never replied to our request. We did call her, I personally called her yesterday, no phone call returned. Terry Moon withdrew, he's out of the state. Richard Homick today called in sick, and we heard that Carol was coming, but she is not here at this time. Yeah, Kenny Brown also
Withdrew.
withdrew due to, I believe, work as well.
Yes.
Yep, 7.
Make sure that's who we have up here. Withdraw.
For Joanne or Olivia. I know, that's what I've been saying, it's Olivia, but they have you on here as Joanne.
Not here. Anything else? Good. And your time won't start until the question is finished.
Okay, Tim, are you ready?
Hold on one second, we're going to get the questions up there so
Okay.
everybody can see.
You want me to read the question and then you pull a name, or you want me to, or you
I'll
want to
pull a name and then you can read your question. I'm like, Melanie, this long pull the name. Be looking at it. Don't be looking. I'll up here.
Tiffany Ellis, come on down, you're the first
You
to
can do it.
Just stay right there.
There's a microphone right beside you.
Do y'all prefer podium or the microphone?
Mike.
First question is, please tell us about yourself and the qualities you think you would bring to the Planning Commission.
My name is Tiffany Ellis. I'm a wife, a mother, a business and property owner within the city.
Hold on a second.
Today.
Like 2 seconds, and the green light will come on. And when you get done speaking, let Kim do technically turn that off.
Let's try it again. My name is Tiffany Ellis. I'm a wife, a mother, a business and property owner within the city of Loganville. I think that I would consider myself an investor into our great city. I hold degrees in business with a minor in law, legal resource, human resource management, and I have 15 years of banking experience. I believe this role requires a significant amount of listening to fully understand our community partners, our neighbors, everything that's going on around us, and how those are affected by our current laws and ordinances. Moreover, I understand that as a member of the commission, I'm just one part of a larger machine. I understand that teamwork is important, that I have to work together with the other parts to make sure that we're moving in the mutually beneficial direction. I think that there are a few requirements for that position, and I think those requirements are open-mindedness, fairness, a spirit of teamwork, as I've mentioned, logic, reason, the ability to effectively communicate with individuals that may be partners in what we're accomplishing here. And I believe that I offer those qualities to the commission. That's my answer.
Come on, microphone. If you could pass the mic to your right.
He's got one.
Yeah, it's your turn.
It's your turn.
Yep.
Am I right or you right?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go to the left. Yeah.
I'm supposed to have it.
Yes, ma'am. It's your turn. It'll go all the way to the end and then come back.
Lights on its work.
Yes.
Are we allowed to ask any questions?
No,
Why not?
because they've got the questions that we want to ask, we voted on, I mean, we all approved these the votes.
I didn't approve.
Well, Danny called everybody and asked them.
I mean, I'm not looking to turn this into a sideshow, but I just have one question I'd like to ask of everybody here. And that is, did you vote in the last election? Because I haven't, I just want to make sure I'm, dealing with people that are here for the right reasons, that are engaged, that show up for meetings, that vote, that know what's going on.
So we did, we circulated some questions, and we set the deadline to turn in your list by April 8th, so there's plenty of time between conclusion of the questions and April 8th to ask any question at that point.
I was under the impression that they were all going to answer these 5, but if we had specific questions for a specific candidate, that we could ask those. So is that not the way we're going to do that?
If I understand it correctly, these are the 5 questions that's going to be asked. If the council agrees with a particular question that they would like to add to this 5, as Jay has offered, and everybody's going to be asked the same question, that's up to y'all.
Well, I have one more, too. How many planning and zoning meetings have you attended? It's kind of like when you run for an election. You can't run for an election and never show up here and then think you know what's going on. So I want to know, who's here on a Tuesday night when it's cold and rainy out?
And that was one of the questions that I did submit, was
Let's
how
just
many...
add these 2. Let's go. Add these 2 and move on. Come on. Let's go.
It's up to your council.
Yeah.
And
It's 2 questions. It's not the end of the world. Come on. It's
so
important,
let's ask
too.
the 5 first, and then we see what their time limit is and look at it at that point, maybe.
That's fair.
Okay, cool.
We'll ask the 5 we got set up.
Perfect.
If 8:15 comes, we're going to finish the question we're on wherever we are, and if time allows, we will add those 2 questions that's going to be asked of everybody.
Perfect. Thank you.
Fair?
Compromise. I love it.
Okay? Okay? Go ahead, Tim.
Ms. Forrester?
You don't have to
You don't have to
stand.
stand up.
You can just sit
You don't have to
far,
stand
right?
up. You don't have to stand up.
Green lights on. I am Barbara Forrester. I have lived in Loganville in the city limits since 2005. I have dearly loved Loganville. I have sat on planning and development for 14 years. I have had 2 courses, University of Georgia, and one was held here. I have only missed 2 meetings in almost 14 years due to major surgery. I have loved my job. You have to learn to roll with the punches and try to accept what's going on around you. And I have learned you cannot play favorites. You have to do what your mind is telling you to do is correct and right.
Okay, Olivia, you got a mic?
Hello, everyone. My name is Olivia J. Price. I'm a local business owner. I own 2 barbershops, one in Norcross and one in here. I am also a realtor with Keller Williams. I own my own real estate team. And also, I have a business degree. And as well as in my real estate industry, I sit on multiple boards. I sit on the board of realtors for the Northeast Atlanta Metro Association of Realtors. I sit on their board. I also sit on the Women's Council of Realtors. I'm on their board as well. And I'm also a committee member for the Young Professionals Network for Real Estate. I am also a committee member for the Governmental Affairs Committee for real estate, and for RPAC, which we fight for homeowner rights. Now, some of the qualities that I possess will be I'm fair and open-minded, because that's very important, especially in a setting like this. Everyone's minds does matter, and inclusive. I am also have the ability to communicate, as well as I have knowledge and understanding of our community issues.
Good evening, everyone. My name is, can y'all hear me? My name is Rosa Steele. I am a mother of 2. I have a son and a daughter. A son that lives in Henry County, that's a business owner. A daughter that's an educator with Gwinnett County Public School. Between the 2 of them, and my daughter actually lives here in Loganville. She's the one that pulled me to Loganville, as a matter of fact. And between the 2 of them, I have 5 grandkids. I worked 41 years. 14 of those years I worked in Georgia State government. When my daughter graduated from college, graduated from high school, went off to college, my son went off to the Navy, I decided to open a business. Unfortunately, that business did not survive due to the 90s economic bubble. I went back into private industry and finished out my professional career with engineering and architectural design firms. My last few years, I worked with residential home builders. Some of them, a couple of them. Got quite a few subdivisions around this area. In 2017, I decided to retire. And what I think I bring to, if I'm given this opportunity to work on this committee, what I bring to this committee is an understanding of professionalism and teamwork. And my professional role has always been in a supportive role. So I'm the one that would get out there, do the research, bring everything back to my superiors, make sure that they got what they need to accomplish whatever the objective is. Thank you.
Broken toes, so y'all don't have to be patient. My name is Janice Tribble. I've been living in Loganville forever. This is my husband, Harold, right behind me. And he's been living here longer than I have. He's 93, and I'm 80. I had a private kindergarten here for 30 years. It's Janice's kindergarten. It was wonderful. I loved my children. And then I retired. And then Mr. Leroy Siegler, who was the principal here, called and said, Miss Janice, I need some help. Will you come to work at Loganville Elementary School? I said, no, I'm retired. He said, but I really need you. I said, okay, I'll try it for a little while. 14 years later, I retired from Loganville Elementary School. Then, my husband and I are involved in almost everything in Loganville. We are regular churchgoers because we believe in the Lord with all of our hearts. We do triad. I've been doing planning and zoning. I wrote all this down so I wouldn't forget anything. But anyway, I served on planning and zoning years ago, back in the 80s. And then I served on the city council for 3 terms. And then we just did things that were local. My big heart is with Walton County Special Olympics. And that's the most wonderful thing I have ever done in my life. But we did other things too. We do the triad. We do everything that Christy does for the city. And we try to support everything that people want us to do. I went on planning and zoning, and I worked with Tim. And if I wasn't sure about something, I just called him and asked him, and he's been good to let me know what I need to do. But anyway, he said I tied this up. And he knows I've been living here 60 years. How do you cover 60 years in 3 minutes? God bless each one of you.
It's still green. My name is Bill Williams, and I've been living in Loganville for about 3 years now. During that 3 years, I was the vice president of my homeowners association, and spent 25 years in public service doing everything. I was a paramedic for 25 years. I worked 911 during that time frame. And currently, the last 5 years, I've worked for Georgia Department of Transportation in the crash reporting office. We handle over 400,000 vehicle crashes in the state of Georgia for every county and every city. And one of my primary duties with that is communicating with all the law enforcement. So I reach out and tell the chiefs of police or whoever that they're doing wrong. And that's a little bit of a hard thing to do. So it's a little bit of a hard swallow to take sometimes when, we have to tell them, hey, the state code says this, you have to do this. So sometimes, it takes a lot of doing to get them to cooperate a lot of times. But I believe bring a lot of qualities with the 25 years of public service, and hope to help the city of Loganville grow in a good way.
Good evening. I'm Keith Colquitt, native Atlantan. Grew up in the southwest area in College Park area. Been in Loganville for 21 years now. My background is currently the field of code enforcement. I've been doing code enforcement for the past 17 plus years now. I was with Gwinnett County since 2005. I served there as an officer, moved up to supervisor, and I retired there in 2018. Took a job with a private consulting company, Charles Abbott Associates, out of Mission Viejo, California, and I'm currently serving as code enforcement manager at City of Brookhaven. I've served on the state board for Georgia Association of Code Enforcement. I've been sergeant at arms for 1 term, president for 2 terms, and I'm currently serving as interim 3rd vice president at this time. And I think that with my background in zoning and understanding of planning development, I can bring a good understanding to the commission and have impartiality as well.
There should be 2 microphones over there.
Got 2.
Anyway, the next question is, when making a recommendation on a P&Z case, how will you separate your personal feelings about what you're hearing and what you want from the recommendations of the director and the city attorney, especially when the opinions conflict?
So I've always been told, and what I do follow is take yourself out of the equation. As people, it's so easy, especially because we all come from different backgrounds, to think a certain way. So in order to properly deal with a confliction, you have to take yourself out of it. You have to take yourself out of your mind to be fair, equal, and impartial. So that's what I would do. I take myself out of situations so I can think differently and I can see outside of the box.
Thank you.
I believe my role would be to support and trust the proposal that the director and the city attorney believe is best for the city of Loganville. Trusting that they have included the concerns of the citizens of Loganville, and that is what I believe our goal should be as a team, period.
You sure? Okay. Okay. This is kind of hard for me sometimes because I'm real bossy sometimes and I have my own ways about myself and I have to do a lot of praying for myself because sometimes I don't like things. I don't always agree with what happens in P&Z. But I have learned over the time that I have to accept what's in our planning and zoning book. And I try to stick with it, and I try to follow the rules. Sometimes it's not hard because, you know, you love people, but I also know that you can't do just what people want you to do. So I've learned to follow the rules in our zoning book. I have, and I had to tell them, Tim, I have. I mean, you know, I just can't help it. I like to talk. Anyway, I try to hear what the people are saying. I think this is the most important thing. I've said this over and over to a lot of people. You've got to listen to the people in your community. Okay, and also, if somebody doesn't agree with something that we're doing, I tell them to reach out to their council members, because that's why council members are elected too, to try to reach out to the people and be a part of their lives and a part of their community. If you're not involved in this community, you can't make a lot of decisions. And I don't know how people make decisions when you don't even know what's going on. And that's important to me. So that's the only thing I can say about this one.
Yeah. My thought is, like several people have said, you got to remove yourself from the equation. And as part of the homeowners association that I've been involved with for several years, you can't please everybody every time, and you're definitely not going to please most of the people all the time. So you got to do what's best for the community and best for everybody as a whole, and evaluate the situation as a whole, and prefer, hopefully, like someone said, the director and the attorney will have the right frame of references to make sure that we stand by the code and stand by the books. So yeah, we just have to remove yourself and evaluate and attempt to choose the right decision, which is best for everybody.
I would have to agree with pretty much everyone here. You do have to separate yourself. You don't take this personal. From my background, if I took this personal, I'd be probably in Milledgeville right now on the crazy farm. But you do separate yourself from it. You look at the facts. You look at what they're saying is best for the city, best for the community, best for the citizens here, no matter what you may think or what someone else on the committee may think, but then work together as a team to bring it together.
I personally will enter each case with a servant mindset. I think that is important for me to understand that my purpose here is to serve. It is to reflect the opinions, the desires of my community, not myself. And I think that that is the basis of making sure that I am not working on my personal beliefs, but that of those around me.
First of all, I think you have to go and search out your property for the case before you decide on anything else, how it's going to affect the citizens living around there. You can't base it on traffic, that's a no-no. But you have got to learn how to follow your book, and if the attorney makes another recommendation, you had best follow it because she knows the law far better than any of us.
What made you want to seek office on the Planning Commission?
Over the past couple of years, I've had a couple of people bring it to my attention that it would be good for me to get involved with. Been kind of involved off and on since Dan Curry was mayor, and then Ray Martinez, and then past couple of meetings I've been here. But I think that trying to help make the right decisions for things that are going on here in the city is probably one of the things that's really gotten me over the past year or so thinking about this, and trying to get involved and using what I know and what I've learned over the years and then put it into play here, but to really make some really good and lasting decisions here for the city and the citizens.
So the last few years, I've been actively trying to be a more integral part of what's going on in our city around us. I live here, I vote in every election, but I don't always attend the meetings. I'm, I guess, one of those Generation Xers. I prefer to watch it on YouTube, and I frequently watch the meetings rather than attend in person, but I understand that my presence is needed. So that was the driving factor, is putting myself my feet on the ground to say, I am here, I'm present. I need to do my part to make sure that the community that we live in remains what it is. I've raised 2 sons. One went to the Army, one moved to Atlanta. I've got one more, and I want to see Loganville remain what it is for my kids and for generations that go further.
I first got into this almost by accident. 14 years ago, when my husband passed away, he sat on planning and development. Bill Jones was our city manager then, and 2 people had resigned, and he had nobody to fill in, and I just didn't even realize what I was saying. He could not approve you. The city manager cannot. It has to be approved by city council. I bit the bullet, did it, went to Athens and took the course. Spent a weekend up there with Pat Chapman, who was, Jim remembers her. Learned an awful lot, and I just really, really, really enjoyed doing it. I love Loganville. I'd like to remain an active member in what's going on, and our city is going to mushroom, and it's going to have to be done very, very carefully by all of us.
So, my grandmother used to always tell me, where you eat, you must plant. I'm so passionate about giving back my expertise and my time back to my community. As a real estate agent and as someone who's so heavily involved in these boards for the Georgia Association of Realtors, the Northeast Atlanta Association of Realtors, I see what people want. I see what our community goes through. So that's so important to me to let people know what's going on around them. Also, too, it serves no purpose for me to have all of this education and knowledge and not share it back to my community. So that's my passion, and that's why I want to join this committee.
My desire is very simple. I want to see Loganville become all that it can be. And I actually believe we actually have a team put together this time after this last election that can accomplish that. To those that don't know, I ran for city council. I went out, I met a lot of citizens in Loganville. And there are citizens out there that express some real desires to see certain improvements in Loganville. And after I did not become a council member, they contacted me and stayed in contact with me and asked me to stay involved, please. So they can have somebody, that they can reach out to, that they believe will be honest and tell them the truth about things. So that is one of my main desires, is I made a promise to these people that I would stay involved. And I do want to see Loganville become its best. There's so many things that we can improve upon. I want to see that. I want to be a part of that. I want to help you all accomplish these things. That's all. Thank you.
First off, let me say I am so proud to see this many people applying for this job, because in the 80s, I was called by the mayor and asked if I would work on a planning and zoning committee. That was Renee Unterman. She was the mayor then. And I did. It wasn't a paid job. It was totally volunteer. And I worked on it. I love the people I worked with back then. I think we did a good job. There's sometimes now when I see the traffic, I wonder if we really did, but we tried anyway. We did the best we could. And I want to tell you, over the years, I have worked with some of the sweetest, best people in Loganville. We miss some of them. Kathy, who's not here tonight, is retired. She's going to move to her lake house. And she's smart. And Rich is very sick. He called me and he could hardly talk today. And he's done a wonderful job with us too. I want to tell you, I think that if people give their time and they love the town they live in, that's the most important part of this job. And everybody always told me, you sure can't do it by saying, we can't do this because it's traffic. Well, that's true. And a lot of things I wish we could have stopped. But we couldn't because we have rules to live by on planning and zoning. Sometimes they're really hard, but they're right. They've been planned, they've been studied. And I just have to say, you have to love Loganville to do this job, because you get a lot of complaints sometimes and people talk about you sometimes, but that's all right with me. I love this town. We've been here forever, and I know my time is up. Thank you. You sure I can say that?
One of the things I want to share is obviously my 25 years of public service. I've been involved in, public service in pretty much every way, shape, and form, and now in the traffic management part. But it requires a lot of cooperation between everybody. Like several people have said, we have to, take into account everything, for everybody and try to make Loganville the best community here, that we possibly can. And I believe it's going to mushroom. And we just need to try to figure out how we can best control the growth, with what we got. So, so that's the object of the game, is to work with everybody and try to grow this town in the best way we can. Thank you.
What steps do you think are important for a planning commission member to take to prepare for a hearing?
Well, I think you need to go out and look at the property that's being, considered, and what considerations, depending on what exactly they want to do with the property, obviously, versus a single business versus a subdivision or community. You kind of have to evaluate how that's going to affect everybody around it, and how it fits into the city's master plan. Just like, everybody, needs to take in consideration, what's going on around them and how things are growing around them. I mean, one of the things I would like to see is more sidewalks as these communities go into our city, is to include sidewalks. I'm an avid biker, so I'm all over the city on bicycle. So there's certain areas I know to avoid, 81 obviously, and those kind of things. So I think, if we can, get the communities as we grow to include sidewalks if possible, on the outside of their subdivisions also, and that makes it, a more pedestrian and bicycle friendly community, and I think that would help us grow tremendously.
All right. I believe that the person on the commission would need to, as the gentleman said, do your homework, look at the property, go out, look at it, look at what's around it, see how what is being looked at to go onto the property or change in the property would work with the surrounding community and the surrounding neighbors. And need be, are there any conditions of zoning that may need to be put on it that would allow it to work better than what may be put to paper, and come up with some suggestions that may help it be a little bit better fit. So definitely doing your homework is the best thing to do.
I feel like I'm echoing a lot of other people, and I say research, research, research. I don't know it all. I'm new to this. There are people in place that know where to find the answers to the questions that I might have. I think boots on the ground. Do I know the property? Do I know the area? Do I know what businesses, homes, neighborhoods that would be affected by whatever this new proposal is? Where are my support people? Knowing what questions that I want to ask before we get there. I think it's important to feel a way through, think through it, and walk in the door with those questions at hand so that there is a better idea, a better understanding of what is on the table.
First of all, you've got to get your paperwork and know where the case is before you can even go out and check on it. Secondly, you could ask questions when you get to the meeting if there's the person here that wants to develop the property. You're supposed to form your own opinions about how you feel about that piece of property, what is best for it after reading everything and comparing it with all the notes in your planning and development book. That is the only way you're ever going to get to it, and you need to listen to the people that are bringing the proposal before you and question as many times as you want to and as many things before you vote and make a ruling on it.
Alrighty, so some of the steps necessary, and once again, I think we're all echoing each other, but it's research. And that's one of the things I love about being a realtor, because I'm out on the fields, I'm driving around to neighborhoods, I'm seeing how people live and how it could affect someone in the long run. So my thing is, I'm a digger. I dig, I do property tax researches and things like that already. So my thing is research and know your homework prior to performing it.
Again, as the others have said here tonight, we need to do our due diligence. Taking the lead from the director, to be clear of the objective of the proposal that's being presented, be aware of any positive or negative impact to the citizens, make sure to have reviewed all pertinent literature and data. Again, that's going to involve some research. But again, working from a supportive role, taking the lead from our director. Know all the key participants required to be in attendance at this meeting. I think that's key.
They can just turn theirs on sometimes. Okay. The first thing over 20 years ago that I learned when I first started doing planning and zoning, you have to go out and really check out things in the property that you're trying to zone. If you don't do that, you don't know a thing about that property. You don't know what's going to happen up there. I'm a prayer, and the first thing I do with my house, with the city of Loganville, with anything I do, when I walk on the first step of that property, I say, Lord, help me decide what's right here. And you may not like me saying that, but that's the way I feel. I have been to everything that I've had to do and vote on. I've been to every piece of property. One Sunday afternoon, when I was really worried about some property that we had to make a decision on, a friend of mine that was on planning and zoning with me, we walked for almost an hour and a half on that property. And I was a little upset over that one now. I'll be honest with you, and everybody knows it because I'm outspoken, you know, the way I feel, you hear it. But anyway, it was approved. And then you know what? My prayers worked because it hadn't been happening yet. And I am so proud. But you know what? I love Loganville. And I want it to be, do it up one more time. I want it to be a wonderful place for all of us to live. This has been our home. My children graduated here. We've been here all of our lives, just about. Harold's been here 93 years. That's a long time to live in one place. But I'm going to tell you something. This community is one of the best communities you will ever live in. And there's so many people here that I love. And sometimes it's hard to make a decision we don't want to make. But anyway, my little boy up there says it's time for me to hang up, so I'm going. Okay, I did it.
They're getting down the bottom, we're going to get Rosie Steele.
So the question is, why do you think an owner or builder would want their property annexed into the city?
I think one of the key things would be opportunity of financial gain. Let's be honest. And to be a part of the city's legacy. I think those are the two key things that they look to. Being part of the city's legacy, Loganville's legacy. Being part of that bigger picture. Those are the two things I think that they look at. Sitting in a lot of meetings in my professional career with residential home builders and listening to some of the conversations going back and forth across the table.
Do I go next? Gotta go again, quick. Talk too long. Danny said I couldn't talk for so many seconds. Okay. You know, everybody should know my answer to this one. Loganville is a good place to live. That's the best answer I can give why anybody would want to move here. There's so many people here that work together. We have all the boards that work together. And you know, they get along, most of them. I worked with the library board, the planning and zoning, and many, many more. Many more. And that's why I think people like Loganville, the people that have been here and done things. I just think that's why anybody would want to build here. Why would you want to live here? I know why. I've been living here forever. Have not moved. We love it. We love the people. And that's what's important. Every day, Harold Tribble and I pray for this town. And we pray for all y'all, too. Because y'all don't always make decisions we like. But I'll tell you who's the first one to know is y'all. I don't talk behind your back. If I got something to say, I say it to you. Because I care. And that's what we have to have in our town. We have a police department that's absolutely wonderful. We have a fire department that is great. Most of the people that work for the city, are personal friends of mine. I love them. All they got to do is call me, and I'd be right there with them to help them. And that's what it's all about, working together for the people. God bless all of you.
Well, I mean, part of the thing with the owner is, I used to live right outside the city, on Shannon Road there. And literally, when we bought our home, we decided to buy inside the city. And that was one thing I double-checked to make sure our subdivision was inside the city, because I love the small-town environment and love the way it's growing, hopefully controlled growing, but but I think, the community as a whole is very well working together, and hopefully continues to do that. And I think with the small town environment, we can still keep the small town environment, but still grow.
I would think that a builder owner would like to be annexed or be a part of the city of Loganville for the support and the services that the city can offer. I think that they want to be a part, as has been said, to be part of something that's going to be lasting forever and to move into an area where people care. And I think that that would be their main reasons for coming in, is the services and the support.
I think that Loganville is quite a lovely place to live, to work, to raise a family. I would honestly challenge you all to say, why wouldn't you want to live in Loganville? Why wouldn't you want to build in Loganville? But I'm also a realist, and I understand that a lot of communities and development comes in because they want access to city resources, policing, fire, utilities, lower insurance costs, things like that. There's lots of different things that factor into it. I'm aware, and I think that we should be cautious when just folding a lot of new development into the city.
I will have to say that this city, in the 17 years I lived here, I have watched it grow, and I have watched the city council members and the planning and development people all pull together to make it what it is today. And I really and truly believe we have more to offer than a lot of other places. We have a lot of activities going on, and it's going to get better, folks. And I think that's why owners and builders would like to live in the city limits, because of what it has to offer for the people. Not just the structure of the sewer and the water and all that. It's just a combination of everything it has to offer.
Now, I think this is probably one of my favorite questions, because considering I've been around a lot, I've been to places like Chicago, New York, LA, Miami, and all of them are congested. Loganville is like a piece of heaven almost, because you have the ability to grow and advance still, even at an affordable price. And I think that's why, I see a lot of developers already talking about trying to come out here, just a matter of time. And that's what makes it great. People still want to come and invest in Loganville, which is awesome, because I did the same thing and I love it. I do have a family, I have children, I have a husband, and we love it here. But I do think, considering everyone, and I do like everyone's responses, but I do think we're moving into a time where we have to be a little bit more innovative, still be kind of sacred, keep things quaint and nice, but innovative and moving forward and expanding. And I think a lot of people have their eye on us. They just don't know how to penetrate through.
Mayor and council, that concludes all the questions on our list.
Okay, would y'all like to just take a 3-minute, 5-minute break? And Jay, if you would give Tim your questions. It's not 8:15 yet, and he can read them out. Okay? Got 5 minutes, guys.
Look great that was. I've been a bad year. I had been, weather's been awful.
Pretty quick.
Well, it looks really good.
Yeah, viruses didn't show up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is.
When we didn't have 7 people here, that could have made a big difference too.
I didn't foresee 7 people just
Dropping out.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Well, after listening to some of y'all, I wonder whether Sam Billy ever wanted to do it anymore.
No. Well, I know for me, I could definitely use some guidance. So if I am chosen, I would love to be able to pick your brain.
I've enjoyed doing it too. We haven't saved our life when my husband died.
Yes.
We had both been very, very involved in the city. And Bill Jones was about to have a stroke because he didn't have anybody to sit on planning and zoning, and I just blurted out in my house, I had buried my husband in. Can I do it? He said, I can't tell you that. The city council makes that decision. So, Brandon, are you sleep at night? How are y'all getting along with the baby? Yeah. They say the first one's the hardest, it's actually the third one will raise itself. No, my granddaughter's expecting her second one. It's gonna be a little girl, and she already has a little boy. She says, this one's Omega, won't be another one. No, y'all needed to at least have two. I had two. Two's enough. You can't have anything else but a monkey. Uh-oh. Wait till the kids are a little teeny bit bigger. And make sure that you get one that does not shed. What kind? They shed. I know.
I wonder how they'll do with being split up. They're probably used to being together. Well,
Brandon, get a schnauzer. I've had three. This one was 50, my last one was 15 Tuesday. She ate half a cupcake. She's senile. She's got cataracts. Stays under my feet. And I wouldn't take $1 million for her.
Not a lot of through the years, but our longest living was Lucy. She was a measles convalescent. She was good. She was in the Parkinson's stomach.
Wow. My schnauzers, my other two died about the time right before they were 13 or right after. So did my Cocker Spaniels. And when the last Cocker Spaniel went, I knew I didn't want to know when we wore Cocker Spaniel hair everywhere.
when we're done, here, let me catch up.
Almost didn't recognize Jay. I'm back every meeting. I've had back surgery. If I haven't been anywhere on Thursday, I was dressed. City council meetings that night. I want to come back. I come up here for 30 minutes.
I have anti-makeup. I don't know what it is. I'm attending an event this Saturday. Thank you. I dread it. I dread it with everything I do. I went and got my nails done today, and I've already messed with them already. Like, I'm just not.
I don't do my fingernails. I do my toenails when it gets warmer.
I only did it because it's a gala over at the Vines Mansion for the East Side Chamber. And so I'm only going just to support. But I was like, this is a little much. And this is,
East Side Chamber, I think he's left and,
you know, Marionette.
Okay, Tim, are you good?
Yes, sir, I'm ready.
Everybody good? Okay. Everybody ready? We'll commence with the questions.
Are y'all gonna pull a name? Are you?
Oh, am I first? It's your first. Oh, my gosh. I got ahead of it. Oh, okay. I told y'all I broke my toe and I'm having a hard time walking. Okay,
Okay,
what's the question?
the question is, what was your favorite planning and zoning commission or city council meeting and why?
Oh, my goodness, let's see. Probably, a lot of people might not like what I'm going to say. Probably the night they announced that we were going to have 800 apartments in Loganville. Oh, yeah. I gave it to you straight. Anything else you want me to say about it?
Got 2 minutes, go ahead. Let it rip, baby, let it rip.
You want me to just keep on talking? Well, that was the one that, I cried half the night. I was so excited. And I don't know what else to say. I just, I think, I've said this to most all the council members. I think that the city doesn't need to be, the people that vote don't need to be left out. And that's one time I felt like the people were left out. And it's over. That's in the past. Now we got to think to the future. That's what I want to do. I just want to think to the future. And then we can. That's what we need to do. Oh, I'm sorry.
No problem. Well, I'm a YouTuber, probably from, several years back. We moved into the city like 3 years ago. And then probably my favorite one recently has been the traffic study. That's what I do for DOT, and that's part of the thing I enjoyed. I came to the Rock gym and I love that kind of thing. I love the traffic study part, and I sat through the 5 hours of the workshop listening to all the traffic studies there. So that was probably my favorite one.
I'll have to kind of echo that. When I heard that there was actually some plans to do some changes on Highway 20 and try to get some traffic control a little bit better, I was really glad to see that. So that was probably my best one over the years.
I am also a YouTuber, and I would say, even though I was not present, I would echo Ms. Tribble, and I think that was a big win for the people of our community, and I think that mattered. So I enjoyed that one.
A lot of people aren't going to remember this one, but I'll never forget it. When Tim, just out of the blue sky, was just running around talking, and all of a sudden he said, and the Loganville Chamber of Commerce is now dissolved. Bam, just like that. Just out of left field, there it was.
Alrighty, so considering I'm still very new to everything, my favorite city council meeting was when everyone got initiated for 2021. Now, I did see Ray Martinez in December, but coming in for the new council was very exciting to see, because it's almost like I'm starting my journey with this council, and it was good to see everyone's energy was high, everyone was excited, and everyone looks different when they leave too, so the energy was so high. But it's just really great to see everyone, and I'm excited.
I'm going to echo what my fellow candidate on the end said. It was the last council meeting where the traffic study representative was here and showing all the proposals that you were looking at to improve the traffic flow around Loganville, because that's what I heard people whining and crying about mostly when I was campaigning. To the point where mothers would say they would have to leave home 30 minutes early just to do a 10-minute run to go pick their child up from swim classes and that sort of thing, or just to run over to the Walmart or Kroger, say it was like a real challenge just getting out their community. So that was my favorite meeting, that there is actually some real effort being put forth to try to improve on that, because it is very much needed. Loganville is a wonderful place to live. I love it. It actually reminds me of my childhood town where I was born and raised until age 11, down deep South Georgia. It really reminds me of that. I think that's what made me fall in love with it. But it has a lot of growing and improving to do, and I'm looking forward to that happening, hopefully.
I was going to say you hadn't gotten there yet. I'll be the last one in here. Fire away, Tim.
The question is, did you vote in the last city election?
I have voted in every election that has been held from Albany, Georgia to here since I turned 18 years old. Thank God I haven't had to miss any of them. Yes, I did.
Yes. Everyone?
I voted in the last 59 elections.
Yeah, I thought the first time I ever voted here in Loganville was the thing with the curtain and the old-time clicking machine. I thought that was something from the prison camp or something. I'm like, what in the world? But I grew up in Florida, so, that's the first time I'd ever seen a machine like that, and I was like, okay, here we go. Hopefully it registers right.
It just changed this year.
Oh, no, that's what you said.
I had to use them when I moved to Rockdale County, and I thought it was the dark ages.
Short and sweet, yes.
I did.
And Mayor and Council, that's all the questions I have. Again.
I'll tell you what, I've been doing this 10, 11 years. Skip and I have been going, we go back a long time, right? To see this turnout is impressive, because I can remember the days of calling people, hey, do you want to do this? And we have some great candidates, so thank you to everybody here, because this is fantastic. This is how it needs to be.
It is wonderful, no doubt about it. Now, the council has their challenges ahead of them. They have until April the 8th to turn in their responses. And then when that's done, the city will calculate those responses with a grading scoring mechanism, and then we will notify those folks that are going to be on the new Planning and Zoning Commission after we make a final vote in April at the council meeting on the 14th. Okay? So I guess you have anything else, Linda?
No, Mayor, that's enough.
Okay, that's enough?
That's enough.
And seriously, thank all of you
Yes.
very much.
Thank
I
you
know
very
it took
much. Yes.
Took a night of your time, and it took some prep, and we appreciate you making that effort. Okay, we'll move now to Finance and Human Resources, Chairwoman Ann Hunsinger.
Mr. Mayor, I have nothing on my agenda.
Okay, thank you so much. And keep in mind, we just had a council meeting last week. So now we'll move to Public Safety Committee, Chairman Jay Boland.
Nothing for this evening. Busy April ahead. I'll have more in April.
Very good, thank you, Jay. We'll move to Public Utilities Transportation, Chairman Bill Duvall.
Nothing, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. We'll move now to Public Works Facilities, Chairwoman Melanie Long.
I don't have anything to do with my committee, but I actually forgot at the last meeting to thank the city and everybody. Brandon and I recently attended UGA, the Carl Vinson Institute for Government, and we were able to complete our mandatory training to sit up here and the state not kick us off. So I appreciate the opportunity to do that, and thank y'all for that.
And the state has mandatory training for all newly elected council members, mayors, whatever. So that's good to get that taken care of. And it's pretty interesting, wasn't it? A lot of information. A lot of information. Okay, we'll move to Economic Development. Chairman Brandon Whitfield.
Yes, I do have one on the agenda. Do you want me to cover the film agreement too?
Which agreement?
Yeah. Okay, so we got the film agreement from the movie company, and we need to be able to have it signed by Skip so we can present it back to the movie. Any questions on the agreement? No?
I'm just glad it's added money.
Exactly.
We'll take it.
Pretty much free money, I like that. Well, I make a motion that we allow Skip Belisle's mayor to sign the agreement with the movie company.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay, motion carries.
You gonna make sure they take care of the geese while they're out there, right, Danny?
You what?
Yes, sir.
I have the other one on the agenda today, discussion on the city manager's release for downtown redevelopment. We need Danny to be able to post the job, which currently he cannot do, because he cannot even talk about downtown redevelopment with the new employee that could possibly come in. So I make a motion to release Danny Roberts, city manager, to talk about downtown development.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Well, I have a question.
Well, we'll get to that.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Wait.
Wait, you can't ask questions after
We
you
have
vote
a
on it.
motion and a second.
Whichever
Now
one
we'll
has
have
a second.
discussion.
Oh, okay, all right.
Now we'll open up for discussion, and then we'll vote.
So are you taking the directive completely off that if he wanted to, he could talk to he could talk to anybody? So
He
we're not going to
could.
limit the scope of who he can talk to?
He can, but everything has to be approved by council. So if even if someone comes and talks to him, he would have to bring it before all of us, so we'd have to make the decision ourselves ultimately anyways. He can't make any decisions without our lead.
Okay.
Do you want to describe that a little bit better, Danny, or?
Yeah, I know Ms. Long and I have talked about this, and I know where she comes from, but so the audience knows, I didn't seek out any developer, ever. These 6 council members told me, since I became city manager, to get downtown developed. When Mr. Conley came, Ray Martinez seeked that. I was told from the 6 members of council, work. Then I was told to stop, which I have done. So to answer your concerns and everyone in, I can talk to the developer all day long. Unless I can develop a downtown for $7,500, these members here have to approve it. I cannot give any services away that exceed $7,500.
Fill your tank up.
That is my limit as a city manager. Everything has to come before the city council. Zonings have to go before the planning and zoning if it's a zoning issue. So just know that just because I talk to people doesn't mean, I want you to know this, and I want all y'all to know this, that I'm not going to go out and say, hey, I want you to build apartments, because that's what the concern is, hey, we want apartments. I don't want apartments, but I'm told to do what my bosses tell me to do. And now we got new bosses. So that's what I'm going to do, is what these bosses say, or the majority, I should say. The majority, 4 of them, so.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But just,
I do need to be able to talk to a candidate about downtown, if that's the direction y'all would like me to go.
the other thing is, basically, for the last 10, 12 years, in most small cities, if someone is seeking out to do something here business-wise, they normally contact the city manager. So I assume for the last couple of years, you've had to look them in the eye and say, I can't talk about that.
Well, not only I nor my staff I would not allow the staff to talk about development. Tim had several people come in right after Mr. Connolly about apartments. I said, Tim, you're not discussing it. They can call the 6 or 7 elected officials. That's all we're doing. And we have held true to that since March the 13th, 2020. So, yes.
But the other concern is, how many people have possibly expressed an interest, and we don't know what kind of development or what kind of program they even had going, and we wouldn't talk to them. So, who knows? I don't. But we should know,
Well, if they were interested, they'll be back.
maybe, unless it went somewhere else.
Maybe we'll get somebody even better.
Maybe. We hope.
So I think, Brandon, kind of your follow-up statement kind of sounded like there's some restrictions involved, and I don't think that's what you meant. I mean, for myself, I trust Danny Roberts. I think we just need to go back to, he needs to do his job, what he needs to do. We take the word development out of it, he needs to just continue on and do his job, and I trust him. And I also trust that whatever he does, he reports to the 6 of us. So we're going to be held accountable for that. So I don't know that we have to place any type of restriction on him. And he just do what he's told. I mean, do what he's not told.
Let me just,
Sorry, told me today, do what I tell you.
actually, that is true, and you did crack the whip on Danny today. I saw you crack the whip.
I did not crack it.
You did crack it.
How did I crack it?
I'm not sure. All right, listen to me. Listen, I got something to say. I'm not opposed to this, but been around a long time. Generally, tonight is about planning and zoning. I don't like it, especially something with downtown development. I don't like it when we put it on a called meeting. I just don't like that. It should be next month on a Monday, even if it's going to pass, but it should be done the right way. When you slip it in, it doesn't feel right.
Well, Jay, let me share something with you. You were not here for the last meeting. I know you had another commitment.
Yes, I did.
We discussed it pretty much at length. We were ready to take the vote, and we were requested, why don't we just wait till next week? That's the way it
That's
happened.
fine. No, but I'm just saying, usually, you just should wait. I mean,
I agree.
2 more weeks, 2 more weeks, let's do it the right way, like we've always done.
I think we've already waited an extra week. Just my thought.
A couple more wouldn't hurt.
Whatever y'all want to do.
Especially with this issue, because we've made missteps in the past.
Okay,
But
we have a
it's
motion.
cool. It's cool.
Okay, we have a motion and we have a second, unless we got more discussion. Somebody's biting their nails over here.
Let it go. Do you mean like we did with the first time the motion was made when it wasn't on the agenda?
What was that?
2 years ago.
I don't remember anything with COVID. My brain is gone.
Okay.
No, I'm being serious. Do you remember what you did during COVID? Because I don't. I watched a lot of Netflix, but I don't remember much.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, we have one abstain, so vote is 5-0 to take the limitations off of our city manager and see what is available for a downtown building, maybe. We'll see. Okay? Any other updates?
That is all I have, Mayor.
Okay, very good, thank you.
No, not
Well, we
yet.
will at the end, okay? Okay. We move now to the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Just put it in the packet after the agenda went out. I'm sorry. No, that was the movie. I'm sorry. So ARPA, the American Rescue Plan Act, is on the back of your agenda, what it stands for. So
Yes, it is.
This came out from COVID, and it had some uses for this money that the Department of Treasury said where this money could go, where it could not go. Since then, they have done what's called the final rule, where it says 41-page in your packet. Those are the rules of the ARPA funds, how it can be spent. One of the biggest changes that was made from the interim rule to this rule was loss of revenue for the city. Before, you had to show a calculation, and if that calculation didn't meet the standard from the Department of Treasury, you could not use that money for that. Since then, they're saying you can use up to $10 million without any issues, as long as it don't exceed $10 million, which can go into the city funds to be used for, and I quote, city services. Those services are extremely vague, and they pretty much say that anything that the city does for the public is considered a city service. One of the big things that I highlighted was roads. It can be used for transportation now, where before it could only be used for water, sewer, stormwater, or wastewater plants, or some other issues, but that was what we're looking for, were infrastructure. So this kind of just gives us more free range to spend the money on roads, infrastructure. I still think we need to do infrastructure. I also know we have the KCI project that has $46 million worth of projects, and we have $3 million to spend. So this is not but $4.8 million total. We still have to have the money dedicated by the 2024, and it must be spent by December 31st, 2026. Now, what's the rush? Well, Natalie and I have to report this by the end of April, but the website's not fixed yet from the Department of Treasury, so it's going to be the last minute rush where we have to spend midnight up here working to get this report, but I had to show where the money's going. My directive before was infrastructure. Since y'all gave me a directive, and I think we want to change, I think you all have talked to y'all, most of y'all, I think we would like to use it for lost revenue and be used at a more, I won't say liberal expense, but more, a broader category, I guess. Y'all have any questions?
So we are getting 10 million, or what did you say we are getting?
So
Well, that's what I'm saying, it says the final review offers an allowance of
I
up
knew
to
better.
10 million.
Up to 10 million.
Uh-huh.
Our fund for the Department of Treasury was a little over 4.8 million.
Okay.
That's the max that any government, or what's called non-entitled unit, which is what the city of Loganville is, the max is 10 million. If you go over that, then you have to use the other formula.
Right.
But since our amount is only 4.8 million, we can use that.
Will the road project that we discussed off Tommy Lee Fuller be able to be done before, we got to spend it by a certain time? In other words, could we use it for that perhaps?
I think, my opinion would be we use it for the lost revenue. I'm not worried about spending it because we have millions and millions of dollars in infrastructure right now that we could do by 2026.
Okay.
I do feel,
We'll need to go ahead and dog ear it.
Duvall and I talked yesterday with Keckenwood, and we do think that the Highway 20 project will be started by 2024.
Okay.
But it gives us a lot of flexibility with it so that we can have that available if we need to for that project, or, if we've got lists of projects, we've got infrastructure projects, we've got transportation projects, and of course, the lost revenue. So it just gives us greater flexibility.
Okay.
Okay, are we saying that we're going to put it in the general fund?
What we're saying is we would use it for city services. What it cannot do, and it says it in there and I highlighted, it cannot go in your reserve for a rainy day fund. It has to be earmarked by 2024, really by end of next April, or this April, because we have to do the reporting. It starts now. So we just need to know, I need to know what side of the reporting I need to go to, either infrastructure or lost revenue.
Can I borrow some for gas money?
That would be a hard no.
Well, we know we have some major infrastructure opportunities. The biggest one, I guess, is right downtown. If we're talking about developing downtown, we've got a 4-inch, terracotta sewer pipe or something like that.
Yeah,
we
it's
got to
a little bit bigger
replace.
than that, but yes.
That we got to replace, and if we bring something in that's a few shops or something, it'll have to be replaced anyway, won't it? Yeah, because we're almost with capacity. So,
David, do you need a motion from us?
Yes, I need a motion to take it from strictly infrastructure projects to general loss revenue project.
okay, we have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
We have a second. We have 2 seconds.
2 seconds.
Oh, sorry, did it? Okay.
Any
Sorry.
discussion? Okay, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Carried 6-0. Okay?
Thank you. And I have one more update for you. This is really for the citizens. It is April the 2nd. Walton Clean and Beautiful, if you recall, I sent y'all a text message about a month ago about they want to do a shred day. So they want people to bring their documents if they want to be shredded. They'll be out back, set up. Walton Clean and Beautiful is hosting this. We're partnering with them by letting them use the facility. And it's from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and it's subject to the weather. So April 2nd, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the track here at City Hall.
Did he say we're going to have an Outback? I heard Outback.
Outback.
Isn't there a limit on what they will take, like 2 bags, as I read?
He did not tell me, but we'll have a, Robbie, do you have a flyer that we can post? It's already on social media.
Was there a limit, Robbie? Okay, good. Thank you.
There's only one truck. So.
One truck. Sure. Right. Well,
That's all I have, Mayor.
who wants to be city attorney tonight? City attorney's not with us, so we won't have any updates there. And that concludes our committee meetings. I guess we need to act a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Carried. That's usually one of the easier ones. So we get to go home. And I guess this is a call meeting, but we have a policy that we use. If any of our citizens want to speak to us about something involving the city, they will have 3 minutes to do that. So we've got a little time. So who would like to be first? Okay, Joanne? Sorry? Yes. Sure. Gotta make sure it's turned on. I use one of these mics here. We got 4 of
We're
them.
getting out of here, didn't you?
Do I have to wait for a color to turn?
Should be green.
Hello. Okay. I'm just curious, with the ARPA money, Danny, I'm tired. Can that money be used to go to any local businesses that might have been devastated by COVID or?
Yes, there is provision in there. It can be used for like low-income housing, businesses, nonprofits. The reason that the city really hasn't chose that, because you got to have a team to set up to administer that. Your counties are more set up to administer that than we are. It would take an extremely amount of people to set that up. So we chose infrastructure is more detrimental to the city.
Merging with the county to, I don't know. I mean,
No.
whatever. It's money you can put in your pocket, but I just feel like, I mean, I know my business tanked because of it, and I just think about people that had it even worse than me, and I just feel like if we could somehow help people get on their feet.
Yeah, there's rules about nonprofit and stuff like that, but I don't believe it's just for sole businesses, but I can look and see. But like I said, to administer a grant through the city, it would take many staff and accounts to set that up. So that's something the city felt that.
I hear you. I don't know. Whatever. I'm just one person. It just doesn't feel right to me. People were devastated as a result of this. So I'd like to see help for them, but,
Well, I'll give you one bit of good news.
yeah.
The rental bill that was trying to be passed
Yes, I've been
downtown
looking everywhere. What
is
you got?
now gone away, so it
I'm
won't be
shocked.
coming up
So it
again
didn't
until
go
they bring it up again next year.
I'm shocked. I've been looking everywhere, and I know you were waiting for my email, and I just couldn't get any intel on it, so
They
that.
caught a lot of flack from a lot of cities and
I
a lot of
thought they
counties.
did. All right, so.
That's good. Thank you, so
One
much,
strike
Joanne.
against the New World Order.
Very good. Anyone else?
AIDS in business, small.
Anyone else?
About small businesses too.
Going.
Well, Barbara, you just said you had a question. Did we answer?
I don't know whether I want to ask it or not. It might be really stupid, but I know traffic's terrible here, and I know to have to widen 78 would take an act of Congress to put the median down. It would help, but you gotta buy the property, you gotta get inside, and whatever. Just a thought.
I'd be willing to bet you Highway 78 will, for the most part, be the same as it is today, 20 years from now. I mean, we got so many other issues. The things they brought to us from the study we had done for a whole year was $45 million worth of projects, and your city's budget's 12.5. So it's, we're going to have to pick and choose and do what we can, and that's what we plan on doing.
I didn't know if we could use it to.
Yes, ma'am.
Some of our smaller businesses in the.
Staff to set up to issue grants out, because we would have
Oh, that's what it would be. Okay.
yeah, because we would have to mark that much every single quarter.
When, Danny, do you put out the ad for the applicants? And with our economy and the state is in, is that really the way we should go with full-time and not a contract?
You asking me or?
I'm asking all of y'all.
Well, I would,
Have concerns with our economy and the state that it's in.
I would tell you that we won't have the money in the budget until July. We know that. If we were to find the exact person that we thought could get our job done for us, be it male or female, then I would encourage us to look at our reserves, if it's May or if it's April, whenever it might be. I don't think it will be, and bring out the reserves until we do have it in the budget. But yes, we're all living under those same things, but it's going to take a new person in our city, and I suspect the new person will be new. I guess the person will be new. It's going to be a learning curve here, too. And they've got to learn people. They've got to learn the city. So it's not anything that's going to happen overnight.
But my whole thing is, should we really go full-time versus contract? And when will that hit to where applicants can start applying?
Okay? None of us can determine what it should be because we can't see the future any better than you can. The council made the decision that we were going with a full-time employee, and that's the decision. When will the ad hit?
Well, now that I can talk about it, it's teed up for, it's actually in HR looking at the job posting is in HR today, so after our attorney looks at it, hopefully next week, it can be published. That's my goal.
And we honestly don't know when or if we'll find the right person. Mr. Short. Mhm. Well, Shane did have someone that he thought could do a job for us, and he would recommend them. However, his exact words were, you need to look and see what's out there because you can find somebody better. So he was very open to that as well. Okay, valid. Anyone else? Okay, with that, thank you so much for giving.